Welcome back, warrior. I'm like trying to figure out how I can see better, but okay. We are on 1 Kings chapter 6 today. Right now, because we're going to be reading more than one today. And I had to get the incline a little bit further down because I'm like, if I'm going to be walking a lot today, I need to not be hiking the whole time. Because it's also hard to read while you walk. And it's kind of painful right now because I worked out yesterday and, coach is always trying to make you do more. So I was doing the most and was doing lots of stuff with my arms, but mostly with my legs. So anyway, but it feels good. It feels good to be uncomfortable because I'd rather be that than in pain from like having to have surgery because of something, right? So here we go. 2 Kings chapter 6. But we are going to be reading the heading for chapter 4 and 5 because we're not reading that out loud here. So the officers in Solomon's court are listed. Solomon reigns in peace and prosperity over a large kingdom. His wisdom and understanding exceed that of all men. And then Solomon gains Hiram's help in getting timber to build the temple. The Israelites hew stones and cut timber for the temple. Okay, so now we're at Solomon builds the temple. This is to chapter 6 that we're on. The Lord promises to dwell among the Israelites if they are obedient. The ornaments of the temple are described. Okay. And it came to pass in the 480th year after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt. Wait, hold on a second. Before we read that, I think the Red-Headed Hostess had some stuff. Oh, yeah. So, chapter 4, they said, Red-Headed Hostess says that Solomon reigned in righteousness and had great wealth. For example, he had 40,000 horses for his chariots and 12,000 horsemen. Also notice verse 29, and God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding, exceeding much and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. And then chapter 5, Solomon begins building the temple. Okay. So Solomon's temple was really meaningful, was a really meaningful step for the Israelites. Up to that point, they had worshipped in the tabernacle as they moved from place to place. But now the Lord had a permanent house among them. The timing, hundreds of years after leaving Egypt, shows how God was continuing to keep his promises to his people. Elder Neil L. Anderson taught this simple truth. He says, the temple is literally the house of the Lord. Let those words sink gently into your soul. It is his house. End quote. Love that. The house of the Lord. Recent messages from prophets, apostles, and other church leaders. Newsroom, churchofjesuschrist.org, August 13, 2023. So that idea helps us see why this mattered so much to them. It wasn't just a building. It was where God chose to dwell with his people. Okay, so really quick rant about comments on my social media. If you want to see what people are really writing about and just hating on and what our kids call rage baiting on members who are trying to do their best by spreading the gospel, right? I'm just trying to shed light. Anyway, I have temple takeaways, and it is like the button that you press when you want haters or whatever, I guess. And these people are just people who are no longer members are commenting. So they were, and they no longer are. And it's so fascinating to see the different things that they say about members, about the temple. And so it is, one of them said something about that the Lord dwells with them and not in the temple. And I agree that Jesus Christ walks with us wherever we go. He will come and meet us in our place of wanting, in that place that we need him. But when you need added strength, you go to the temple. Like, that is where I receive strength, additional strength from heaven. And it's not a way that I can explain it. It's only a feeling that you get. And so it's sad because I'm not going to comment on all hater things. So I don't know where we got lost, but anyways, the haters will comment on my, okay, hold on. Okay, so sorry, for some reason my phone was trying to, we kept stopping the recording. Anyway, so I will comment on a few of those hater comments in my posts that I do on TikTok or Instagram. But there's not enough time in the day for me to comment to everyone. But also, nobody really deserves a comment. The only reason why I even have to comment or have to feel like I have to comment is so that I could get more people to see my posts, which means I'm exposed to more haters. And so it's just like this really sad cycle. But I know that it's just Satan trying to instigate and trying to spread that hate, because if you've been to the temple, you know that it's amazing and that there's a different kind of peace that you can receive there than just being at home. And yes, President Nelson has even said that the temple, or that the home, is like second to the temple and maybe even better than the temple. But like, in the temple, you can do different things to serve your family and to serve your own purposes, and you get certain blessings and strength that you wouldn't be able to get just at home, you know? And so anyways, I think it's sad that people feel like they need to comment. Like, what is that going to do for them? It's certainly not changing my testimony. I'm not going to let some random stranger who is trying to instigate and rage bait me to change my belief. I don't get it. But that's what the internet's for, I guess. And of course, every time I try to see their posts that they've put on, it's not a real person. They have like maybe one post that's a repost from somebody else. So it's like, you just created this account so you could rage bait. Awesome. Like, how much time do you have on your hands? Anyway, that's my rant about that. Okay, so here we go. Verse 1, and it came to pass in the 480th year after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt, in the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel, in the Mount Ziph, which is the 2nd month, that he began to build the house of the Lord. And the house which King Solomon built for the Lord, the length thereof was 80 cubits, and the breadth thereof 20 cubits, and the height thereof 30 cubits, and the porch there before the temple of the house 20 cubits was the length thereof, according to the breadth of the house, and 10 cubits was the breadth thereof before the house. And for the house he made windows of narrow lights. And against the wall of the house he built chambers round about, against the walls of the house round about, both of the temple and of the oracle, and he made chambers round about. The nethermost chamber was 5 cubits broad, and the middle was 6 cubits broad, and the third was 7 cubits broad. For without it, the wall of the house he made narrowed rests round about, that the beams should not be fastened in the walls of the house. And the house, when it was in the building, and the house, when it was in building, was built of stone made ready before it was brought thither, so that there was neither hammer nor axe nor any tool of iron heard in the house while it was in building. Oh wow, that's crazy. So even while it was being built, they showed serious reverence and respect. See, and one of the comments that I got also said that there was no temple before the temples that we've created. And I'm like, have we read our Bible? There's Solomon's temple that he built for the Lord. So anyway, I don't know. And let's see. And the house. Oh, great. Now I lost my way here. Verse 8. The door for the middle chamber was in the right side of the house, and they went up with winding stairs into the middle chamber and out of the middle into the third. So he built the house and finished it and covered the house with beams and boards of cedar. And then he built chambers against all the house, 5 cubits high, and they rested on the house with timber of cedar. Concerning this house which thou art in building, if thou wilt walk in my statutes and execute my judgments and keep my commandments, to walk in them, then will I perform my word with thee, which I spake unto David thy father. Okay, hold on. For some reason my watch is crazy, not recording me. Okay. And I will dwell among the children of Israel and will not forsake my people Israel. So Solomon built the house and finished it. And he built the walls of the house within the boards, or with the boards of cedar, both the floor of the house and the walls of the ceiling. And he covered them on the inside with wood and covered the floor of the house with planks of fir. And he built 20 cubits on the sides of the house, both the floor and the walls, with boards of cedar. He even built them for it within, even the oracle, even for the most holy place. And the house that is in the temple before it was 40 cubits long. And the cedar of the house within was carved with knops and open flowers. All was cedar, there was no stone seen. And the oracle he prepared in the house within to set there the ark of the covenant of the Lord. Okay, so I love that it says that they have carved knops and open flowers. That's what we have in our temples. We have flowers that adorn the glass. What are those called? Stained glass, and it's just gorgeous. And then we also have flowers inside the wood. Some temples have them in their initiatory rooms. Anyway, it's like so pretty. And that's cool that that's what they did. Okay, and the oracle he prepared in the house within to set there the ark of the covenant of the Lord. And the oracle in the forepart was 20 cubits in length, and 20 cubits in breadth, and 20 cubits in the height thereof. And he overlaid it with pure gold, and so covered the altar, which was of cedar. So Solomon overlaid the house with pure gold, and he made a partition by the chains of gold before the oracle, and he overlaid it with gold. And the whole house he overlaid with gold until he had finished all the house. Also the whole altar that was by the oracle he overlaid with gold. And within the oracle he made 2 cherubims of olive tree, each 10 cubits high. And 5 cubits was one wing of the cherub, and 5 cubits the other wing of the cherub. From the uttermost part of the one wing unto the uttermost part of the other were 10 cubits. And the other cherub was 10 cubits. Both the cherubims were of one measure and one size. The length of one cherub was 10 cubits, and so was the other cherub. And he set the cherubims within the inner house, and they stretched forth the wings of the cherubims, so that the wing of the one touched the one wall, and the wing of the other cherub touched the other wall. And their wings touched one another in the midst of the house. And he overlaid the cherubims with gold. And he carved all the walls of the house round about with carved figures of cherubims and palm trees and open flowers within and without. And the floor of the house he overlaid with gold within and without. And for the entering of the oracle, he made doors of olive tree, and lintel and side posts were a 5th part of the wall. Okay, so we have the linden tree instead of an olive tree, but we have the linden tree represented in the stained glass in our linden temple. It is so cool. In fact, fun fact, linden is actually supposed to be spelled Linden and not DON. But the government, when they were setting things up, they misspelled our city name. And so now it just looks like we're trying to be like London, but we really aren't. We were trying to be like the linden tree. And so that's where the name Linden comes from the linden tree. Anyway, we're going to keep going. Verse 35. Oh, sorry, hold on. Verse 34. And the two doors were of fir tree. The two leaves of the one door were folding, and the two leaves of the other door were folding. And he carved thereon cherubims and palm trees and open flowers, and covered them with gold fitted upon the carved work. And he built the inner court with 3 rows of hewed stone and a row of cedar beams. In the 4th year was the foundation of the house of the Lord laid in the Mount Ziph. And in the 11th year, in the month Bul, which is the 8th month, was the house finished throughout all the parts thereof, and according to all the fashion of it. So was he 7 years in building it. Okay, so this temple took 7 years to build. So that's wild. Let's read some Redheaded Hostess commentary about this one. Okay, so we can see how carefully everything is planned and built. Even the stones were prepared ahead of time, so the actual construction site stayed quiet and peaceful. That detail gives a sense of how sacred this place was. It was set apart and treated with reverence from the very beginning. Solomon's temple was where the Israelites came to worship and stay connected to God and his commandments. In a similar way, our temples are places where we step away from the world, make covenants, and feel closer to the Lord. Remembering that it is truly his house can change how we think about going there. It becomes something personal, peaceful, and deeply meaningful. Yes, it does. Okay, and then Solomon's temple was more than just a beautiful building. It was a sign of God's desire to be close to his people. The Lord makes that really clear. He promises that if the people will walk in his commandments, I will dwell among the children of Israel and will not forsake my people Israel. That's the heart of the temple. It wasn't just about the structure. It was about a relationship. The temple was where heaven and earth could come a little closer together as the people chose to follow him. Oh, I like that. And it becomes a place to commune with God. These verses give a beautiful picture of what the inside of Solomon's temple was like. And it's not random. It was designed to feel like a garden. Oh, cute. You see carvings of palm trees, open flowers, and cherubim everywhere along the rich materials like gold and olive wood. All of that points back to the Garden of Eden, a place full of life, beauty, and peace. In the Garden of Eden, God walked with Adam and Eve. It was a place where heaven and earth were together. The temple is meant to reflect that same idea. The images of plants and trees along with cherubim remind us that the temple is a place where we come back into God's presence. For us, that makes the temple feel even more personal. It is not just a place we go. It is a place that symbolizes being with God again. Ooh, love that. Yes, I agree. I concur. Okay, so then we have our Read It, Live It. What is this? And it says, I'm going to stop right here for a second. 1.2 miles already. Nice. Okay. It says, I will dwell among the children of Israel and will not forsake my people. God's desire wasn't just a temple. It was a covenant connection. Let him dwell with you. I love that. Yep. Amazing. Okay. Until 1 Kings chapter 7. Stay strong, warrior. Okay, really quick. I forgot to add this about Solomon's temple. It's funny that we call it Solomon's temple, even though it's the temple of the Lord. But every place has this is the Linden, Utah temple. So it's more of just like placing location and time. I think being able to call it Solomon's temple gives us the location and the time frame of when that temple was built. And so it's definitely not the temple to Solomon, but it's Solomon's temple that he built for the Lord, right? It's like Solomon gave the Lord a gift of this temple, which is awesome. Okay, so Solomon's temple was about 105 feet long, 30 feet wide, and 45 feet high, twice as big as the tabernacle in Salt Lake City. The temple was built on Mount Moriah and is where Abraham went to sacrifice Isaac, well, where he originally went to sacrifice Isaac, right, which was the likeness or similitude of the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. Now thousands of Israelites will bring a lamb without blemish to this same site and offer a sacrifice in the similitude of the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. Solomon's temple expanded the size of Jerusalem. Oh, nice. Solomon built his home right by the temple, which would be amazing. Everybody loves living right by the temple, right? In fact, there's a house right now that's for sale by the linen temple, and I am dying. Like, I really want to get it, but like, we're not trying to move. So anyway, Solomon's temple was eventually destroyed by Babylonians around 587 BC after Lehi and his family left Jerusalem. So that temple was later rebuilt and became known as Herod's temple. It was Herod's because, you know, when you rededicate a temple or when you have to rebuild something, it can get a new name. So anyway, it was Herod's temple that Jesus came to. Oh, okay. Okay, and then for an excellent video about Solomon's temple, as well as seeing a model of it and learning about the history of the temple, watch this video after studying the previous chapters. This video will make a lot of sense. It's called Solomon's Temple Explained, and it's on YouTube. And it's about 10 minutes and 20 seconds, so it's not very long. So you could definitely do it like while you're eating dinner, which is totally what I'm about to do with my family for breakfast maybe, or lunch actually. I think everybody already ate breakfast, but there's another 3D video, has additional commentary and history. This will review past chapters discuss David and Solomon. Also gives you an understanding of history we'll yet study this year. So it's called History of the Jewish Temple in 3D, also found on YouTube, and it's 3 minutes and 4 seconds in case you're wondering. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next chapter.